Morning guys, it's 7 a.m. right now. I'm heading back to work. I got here, home yesterday. I'm at the airport right now, just packing, and I'll head into the airport shortly. But in the meantime, I wanted to just share this information with you guys because I felt not a lot of people understand how this works. It's very important to think about as you plan your journey into the airlines. Most airlines will operate out of pilot bases, and what will happen is, if you don't live in base, if you are assigned that base, you will have to get yourself there and back. Now, most of the time you are able to fly on what they call like a standby, jump sitting, non-rev. There are so many times for it, but the whole idea is because you're a pilot, you can fly for free. Getting to base and getting out of base can be something that you always have to worry about. This is why as you join, say, a regional, an airline, or an establishment, corporate job, or whatever that kind of job it may be, they always would operate out of a base. There are some that would actually have you home-based, which is nice because such corporate jobs, generally they're corporate jobs, or some cargo companies would do that. Those jobs would provide you tickets to fly you from home to wherever they wanted to operate out of. On the other hand, if you are with an airline that just operates out of bases, that means you have to get yourself from your home to the base. In my situation, I am flying to base in a few hours, maybe in about 2 hours. I only had 2 days off. Okay, I had 2 days off, and I came home yesterday, and I'm already heading back out this morning. Today's my day off. Yesterday was my day off. So on my 2 days off, I was busy commuting back and forth, which doesn't make it feel like a day off. That is part of the journey. That is part of the also that comes with joining an airline. If I really want to improve the quality of life right now that I'm currently experiencing, I can choose to move to base. And by doing that, that would drastically improve my quality of life, because on my 2 days that I'm off, I would be home. On the days I'm on call, I would be home. If you watch my last video, I talked about how I was gonna spend the day in a crash pad, and that's not just a day. It's usually weeks in a row. Sometimes it could be 2 weeks in a row. And mind you, the last time I've been home was 3 weeks ago now. Assuming you have a family, you have kids and all that, that's going to really impact the quality of life and your ability to be present for your family members. But again, it's a choice. You don't have to always apply to these airlines that operate out of certain bases. So if you choose to apply there, that means you're willing to work out of those bases. It's always beneficial to move to base. The other thing that you need to consider is the finances that comes with it. For example, if you don't live in base, you also have to worry about the fact that you have to keep 2 homes or an apartment or a crash pad. You also have to worry about, maybe you need 2 cars. You also have to worry about transportation. Things of that nature are things that you would always have to worry about in 2 places, whereas if you lived in base, you only have one thing to worry about. Your shelter in one place, your transportation in one place, everything is all together. The other thing is, like I already mentioned, your family, and you have to consider that, because sometimes it's not feasible for some people. For example, let's say your wife works in a certain job that doesn't allow her to move out of town where you guys are currently at, and now you get a job in a different place that's a base at somewhere far away. Well, you have to make a sacrifice. Or maybe your kids are in school and you're unable to put them out of school because you don't want to put them out of that school. That's the school they've been attending for years, and you don't want to take them out. So those things can really impact how you make that decision to change or to move to a base. Sometimes you just don't even want to live in that base because it's too expensive or it's too crowded. As a pilot, you will spend most of the time away from home. Being in a base that is not where you live also means that you spend more time away from home. This will generally increase your time away from your family. This will generally increase your financial burden. This will generally increase your stress as well. There's not a lot of good things that comes with living out of base. It's just the nature of the job. Hey guys, so I'm actually in base now. I am driving to my crash pad. One of the things that you should consider, when you're choosing an airline, one of the things you always want to consider is commute. Like, how is the commute to base? Another thing I'd like to bring to your attention is this. Sometimes you see some people stay at a particular airline, whereas there's another airline that probably could provide them with more financial gains or benefits or whatever, but they chose to stay. You have to understand that when you're changing airlines, like I already mentioned, in my previous video, you lose seniority. A lot of people would prefer to stay with their current airline and give up the gains in other airlines, like financial gains or benefits or whatever that may be available to them if they elect to go for that other airline. But they will choose to actually stay with their current airline because of the quality of life. And to some people, you know, money is not everything. So to some people, they want the quality of life. They're already senior, they're already making enough money to do the things that they want to do and achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. So it's not important for them to make more money. Whereas, you know, to other people, that may be something important to them that would push them to choose to go and lose seniority and start all over again. Now, of course, age is also a factor. Some guys are close to retiring already and they'll choose to stay with their current airline because they don't want to, start all over again, only to not make as much. Yeah, they may make more, but not as much that will significantly improve their quality of life or their savings for retirement. But these are the things that I'm trying to just share with people that, if you haven't thought about something like that, you want to think about it. And that's why time is of essence, right? You want to get started early, get the difficult days behind you so that as you get older, your quality of life gets better. You don't want to start at a late stage in life where your quality of life then goes down significantly. So you have to make sure that you think about these things thoroughly, and that's why you always want to make your moves early. If you're going to start a flight training, start now. If you're going to change jobs now to be able to get to where you want to be. Don't wait any longer.